Hello everyone, Srijal here. I decided to do a review about the episode The End in France. Much of this episode were, well, what did I not expect to see from it? When I first read about the line of the party story before this episode was even aired, I was thought, okay, this would be the first Rainbow Dash episode with Rarity we haven't seen in a while. How could they be friends since they have not, perhaps nothing is in common except for their friends? We can also see that how much Starlight is helping or is trying to help to see what they could have in common. I cannot say much about their efforts from Starlight to at least help to find something in common between Starlight, Rarity, and Rainbow. Even if Rainbow wants to make something fast, only that she doesn't like fashion, but at the same time, Rarity organized her system to be perfect and that everything had to be taken and made in order. Even Rainbow wants to make something, doesn't want to take it slow, she wants to make it finish everything in a fast rate. But that cannot be often can lead to disaster. Rarity otherwise has been well is more organized pony where the others are. Well, unlike Twilight, of course, but to see that they have nothing in common, that they are planning to have some dinner or lunch together, spend some time, that Rarity has planned for them to spend some more fashion, but Rainbow has at the time has already decided that they want to play football with Rainbird's team from Appaloosa. I mean, that is just completely opposite of personality. Even if so that we can see how much more about their passion for to be friends. Even if Rainbow is trying to efforts to to spend some time with Rarity. Even if Rarity doesn't even at the same time during this Huffball game, she doesn't even pay attention to her game, only to spend more time on her fashion designs. She just came up with new designs for the team's dresses or outfits. She doesn't even pay any attention to the game, and that makes Rainbow quite angry. She tries to animate, so she even tries to make Red to pay attention to the game. At the same time, the students are following them around to see how they work together to make us as an perfect exemptions as they are as a friends. But since Gallet has just admitted that they don't have anything in common, since that was that comment, both Rarity and Rainbow looked at each other and thought maybe he's right. They don't even have anything in common except they have just common friends. And then when Starlight tried to break the ice between them and tried to at least make them understand it, to make it some obvious. So she decided to let them read each other's favorite book. Rarity to read Daring Do and Rainbow read Rarity's favorite book. But apparently it seems that Rainbow didn't seem to even read Rarity's book at all. And since Rarity had even either read about Rainbow's book, and even that we can see how much effort Starlight even tries to make them to work as friends. But this one turns out in the end they have this big argument and they suddenly decided not to be friends anymore. I was concerned. How can they suddenly start to be not end their friendship since they have been friends since season 1? I was very concerned. Could this be the end of the main six as the main characters? Would it be the end of all the adventures they have been past and in the future? But then we had discovered that both Rainbow and Starlight, Rainbow and Rarity have been summoned to the Caterpillar school for an emergency. It turns out one of the amulets or the artifacts which Celestia had given to the school, the amulet of Aurora, has been stolen. And that Rainbow and Rarity decided to work together to find this amulet, because this, in wrong hands, it could make unbelievable devastation, disaster for Equestria, like huge tsunamis. So they work together to find this trace of this glitter or some sort of rock or gemstones. But earlier you can see that how much they even work in this cave to find some gems for Rarity's new designs. Rainbow was looking for what she thought could be some secret treasure, but that was part that led them to end the friendship. Even during this time with that the students are following them around to study them, even Twilight might try to convince the students that they had this, even though some friends can have some arguments. But in the end of the friends, when Rarity and Rainbow decided to end their friendship, Twilight was concerned if this could end a perfect, good old friendship, and even that they were perhaps even start working at the school as teachers. She was afraid of that. But even to see how much Rainbow and Rarity work together to find this amulet, and including in this swamp, and that they wondered how deep this swamp could be. So Rainbow tried to with a stick to say that that's too deep for even for Rarity to walk over. But seeing how much efforts they try to work together in order to save this amulet from it falling in wrong hands, to see how much they work together, as even to talk to this big giant frog, to see this frog type of creature as sensitive to loud noises, and even to see that the Rainbow to at least know about these creatures, how much this, but that could be much about how much you learned about animals. It is probably from Fluttershy. Fluttershy can probably knows a bunch about creatures, and she kind of told this Rainbow and her friends about this, and without even knowing. But what I think about this, their work together, cooperation to find this amulet is just worth it. I mean, even if they still find it, they were still finding it as important of this, even it is trying to find this amulet. But then we know exactly what happened. We all know now that even after they find the amulet where it is leading, everything else turns out to be that it was just a trick for that to see that Rainbow and Rarity could actually work together, and that the amulet was never stolen. And this is just a trick to see them how much they could work together and see how much efforts they can pay much attention to repair this friendship, that they can still work together even if they don't have much in common. Even if the friends are out there, even if you don't have much in common, you can at least try to understand what your friend likes or dislikes. If you don't know how much your friend, at least pay attention like Rarity and Rainbow did. This seems at the beginning they don't have anything in common, but to the end they have something that they could treasure worth, as they have something, and they have something that is priceless, and that is true friendship. That can't be bought or sold by any means. But seeing that Rainbow and Rarity work together in the end to find this amulet which they thought was stolen, and even at the beginning of this episode to see that Starlight was trying to help them to be as friends again, or at least to at least see what they have in common. But in the end, this didn't seem that was even gonna work until we see that Rarity and Rainbow work together at the end. But I know that was Starlight who was actually made this idea for Twilight to make this to work. But in the end, they didn't realize that after they came find a secret passage to school. But Starlight managed to save a friendship even if there was not much to see of it. But I can say that the friendship between Rarity and Rainbow are unusually but unique. Even they don't have much in common, but they have it showing the right to work together to solve and save their friendship. And what is the efforts to see them to argument this along? They had some arguments in the past, but never that much this as this. Sure, they may have some past arguments over either fashion science or, but never this serious. When I first saw this argument in the cave while they finding these gems, I was very shocked. I could even understand how much they could argument like this because they had it in the past seasons, but never like this much serious. I was very concerned. Could this bring an end to their friendship after having been friends for so long? I don't even understand why. But see them how much they work together to find this amulet, how much they really are meant to be friends, and how much they really want to save Equestria from any certain doom. And even to see how much they working together as a great team. They are a great team together as to solve mysteries. Even if they don't have much in some things in common, but still they have to value their friendship the most. Since friendship is something that you can't buy or you have to earn it. But they hadn't realized how much they really care for each other even as a friend, even though they don't have much in common. That is something that you should value the most. If you don't value the more of this friendship, what's it the point of have a friendship with someone you don't have anything in common with? But if you try to at least make it to work, that is something worth it. I may get a topic here, but overall, this episode was very much not what I expect from it. When I first read about this episode, I thought, okay, this one's going to be a Rarity Rainbow Dash episode, but at the same time, we haven't seen much about this episode before. But this was really, really off this hand. To see all the much this fight, and in the end of this almost breaking up this friendship, I was very concerned, but to the end I was relieved that they worked together to find this amulet, even if it was not really stolen, to see how much they really care for us as friends. That is something they should pay attention to learn, to help each other, to get some learn about each other's more, to see if they have anything in common. And I would like to hear what you all think about this episode. If you have things and your concerns or your opinion of they could have happened. And I will rate this episode with a C-. It was not one of my favorites, but it is good enough to see for maybe once a while. Well, and as always, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Switch Diablo over and out.